Hi everyone, my name is Eric and I am a music education student at the Sunderman Conservatory of Music at Gettysburg College. Today I'd like to introduce you to the drum set. Now the drum set is made up of a variety of different drums and cymbals. As you can see here, we have a couple different instruments that make up the entire drum set. This originated around 1909 through the 1940s when a couple of different artists, Gene Krupa, Buddy Rich, put all their ideas together to making the modern drum kit easy and accessible as people began to learn how to play. Let's take a look now at some of the different instruments that typically make up a drum set. So this big drum right here is called the bass drum, and I can play it without even using my hands. This bass drum is controlled by a pedal that I use with my right foot. The hi-hat over here is the other pedal of the group. It's one of our cymbals, and I can open and close it to get a clap sound. I also can strike it with my drumsticks here. Some of the different cymbals that we have here, this large one over here to my right is called the ride cymbal. The ride cymbal is very often used in a lot of jazz music. And over here we have the crash cymbal that is typically played along with the bass drum. Some of the other drums that we have here on the drum set, these two that I have right here, those are called the toms. Here is the high tom, because it has a higher sound, and the low tom, because it has a lower sound. Some drum sets have toms that, well, are very small or very large. My drum set has two. Some people can have only one or none, really. And some people can have up to 40 or more. Those are very large drum sets. And then finally, let's talk about the snare drum here. The snare drum is used in a lot of different ensembles, including concert bands, wind symphonies, orchestras, and even marching percussion. But we include it here in the drum set as well. Now that we're talking about where these things are played, let's talk about where the drum set is played. It's very often used in a lot of big bands. So jazz bands particularly, that's where it got its start with bebop and Afro-Cuban rhythms. But it can also be included in a lot of your typical modern rock and funk. Also Latin beats, and as I mentioned before, Afro-Cuban rhythms, and can be included in front ensembles of a marching band. So why choose the drum set over any other instrument that you could play? Well, I'll tell you. Number one, it's because a lot of people in the ensembles that the drum set is in are listening back to you. So if you're keeping time on the drum set, everybody is using their ears to listen to you. Not to mention keeping time, but you can also embellish and do all sorts of cool different things and fills around the drums, as you'll see me do in a couple minutes here. But you are the listening point of a lot of different ensembles. Also, there are tons of styles that you can play with the drums. There are endless amounts of ways and configurations that you can play here, rhythms on different drums and cymbals and all sorts of different things to do with your hands and your feet. You're moving a lot. So the drum set is very interactive and very fun. Okay, I think it's time that we take a look at a couple different rhythms that we can play on the drum set. You can start with a basic pattern like this. That consists of the bass drum, the snare drum, and the hi-hat. And you can get a little more complicated with that basic pattern too. Add some more complicated rhythms. Let's take a look at some big band jazz that is also usually played on the drum set. Or how about the classic slow shuffle? Or we can take a look at, let's say, some disco or funk. Or how about a bossa nova Latin feel? that about does it for today's lesson on the drum set. Hopefully you are as excited about this instrument as I am, and I highly encourage that you go ahead and pick it up one day. Thank you very much.